There are some names in sports that, well, they just mean greatness. You hear Ali, you hear Jordan, and you hear Pelé. It's a name that became this global symbol for genius, for pure joy, and for a sport he would completely define. So, how did one man become the beautiful game itself? Let's get into it. I mean, seriously. When your opponents, the very guys whose job it is to try and stop you, are describing you like this, you know you're dealing with something else entirely. That was the kind of awe Pelé inspired. And this is the number that grounds the whole legend in reality, even though it feels completely unreal. 1,279 goals. It's a Guinness World Record that almost doesn't make sense.
And that's the real story here, isn't it? It's not just about the incredible stats or the trophies. It's the journey. How did this kid, Edson Arantes do Nascimento, become known to the entire world simply as Pelé?
So let's go all the way back to the start, because his story begins in a place that's a world away from the massive stadiums he'd one day own, playing with a ball that wasn't even a ball. This is where it all began. He grew up poor, so poor that he had to work in tea shops just to bring in a little extra money for his family. A future as a global superstar was, well, the furthest thing from a guarantee. You can really see how his genius was born out of just making do. He couldn't afford a real ball, so what did he use? A sock stuffed with newspaper. His training ground wasn't some perfectly manicured pitch. It was the tight, fast-paced world of indoor soccer, or futsal. He actually said later that futsal taught him to think and react faster than everybody else. And that speed of thought, the kind you only learn on the streets and in those small-sided games, was about to spark one of the most incredible, meteoric rises the world of sports has ever witnessed.
And when I say meteoric, I am not kidding. The speed at which he went from a kid kicking a sock to a national hero, it's almost impossible to comprehend.
Just look at this timeline. At 15, he signs a professional contract. By 16, he's not just on the team, he's the top scorer in the entire league. And then, at just 17 years old, he doesn't just go to the World Cup, he wins the whole thing for Brazil. It's insane. And this shot just says it all. This isn't some kid who looks out of place. This is a teenager completely dominating grown men on the biggest stage in sports. He scored 6 goals in that tournament, 2 of them in the final, and became the youngest World Cup winner ever. A legend was born, right then and there. He was so good, so important to the country's identity, that by 1961, Brazil literally had to create a special law just for him. They declared him an official national treasure, which basically made it illegal for him to be sold to a team outside the country. Can you even imagine that happening today? Now, after a really rough 1966 World Cup where he was just kicked and fouled out of the tournament, Pelé came back 4 years later with a score to settle. And what he did in Mexico in 1970, well, it was his absolute masterpiece. He wasn't alone, of course. This 1970 Brazil team is the stuff of dreams. Many people say it's the greatest team ever put together. And who was at the heart of it all, conducting this beautiful symphony of attack? Pelé. This quote, this is from the poor Italian defender who had to try and mark Pelé in the World Cup final. It just says everything. When you were on the field with him, even the best players in the world felt like they were up against something not quite of this earth. And here it is, the coronation, the moment that sealed the legend forever. He scores the first goal in a huge win over Italy, and he's carried off the field a champion. The boy from Bauru was now, without any doubt, O Rey, the king. And that incredible win in 1970 led to this number, 3. That's how many World Cups he won. It's an achievement that just sets him apart. To this day, he is the only player in history to have done it. But his work wasn't done. After conquering the world with Brazil, he took on a brand new challenge, making the rest of the world fall head over heels for his sport. When he came out of retirement to sign with the New York Cosmos, it was a massive deal. Before him, soccer in North America was a pretty small niche sport. He single-handedly lit a fire under it. Attendance went through the roof, the media went crazy. He truly was a game changer. His influence was so profound, he even helped name the very thing he perfected. Now, he may not have invented the phrase, but it was Pelé who made the beautiful game famous.
forever linking the sport with the kind of art and joy that he brought to the pitch every single time.
But hey, don't just take my word for it. Just listen to what the other all-time legends had to say. Johann Cruyff, Franz Beckenbauer, Bobby Moore. These were his rivals, and they were all unanimous. Pelé was just the greatest.
So why does all this matter so much? Because his legacy goes so far beyond scoring goals. He was a true inspiration, becoming the first Black global sporting superstar. And he used that fame for good, working as a UN ambassador. He didn't just change his sport, he helped change the world around it. And maybe he understood his own legacy better than anyone. He made that distinction himself between Edson, the normal person, and Pelé, the immortal idea, the legend that will truly never ever fade. One name, one signature, one simple title that says it all. Array, the king. A man who didn't just play the beautiful game, he embodied it.